Hi, this is Jeff, and what I'm going to do today is walk you through an install for some new dash panels for a Mini Cooper. Mine's a 2011. It should be similar for model years around this. It's a R57 stage second model year. And basically what I'm going to do is replace this section right in here with this unit, and same thing with another piece over here. I got these off eBay, and I like the leather dash a little bit better than what I have here. To do this, you need a star point screwdriver. This is a T20 size, so make sure you have that. All the screws are star points, makes them easier to take in and out. The first thing you have to do is actually remove the dash, which comes straight out, and I'll get through that in a second, and then that gives you access to the screws on the top, and then underneath you'll have to remove this panel right here. There's screws down here that you just unscrew to be able to get to it. So that's what I'm going to do right now, is actually do those things. Okay, the hardest part about getting started is getting actually this back plate off. You can see with another one that I have that I bought on eBay, there's 3 plugs that hold it in. And what you have to do is that they're on pretty tight, so you have to go back in there in the spots where those are at and pull it out. And the 3 spots are approximately right here, right up here, and then over here. I got this one loose, and what I found, I've taken a long screwdriver, put electrical tape all over it to try to minimize any marring that I'm going to do on that. And what I found is I have to go back in here as best as I can and start to pull back on that and loosen it up. So I'm going to keep plying and working on all 3 sides till I can get that off. Okay, so now I've gotten all 3 of those off. I put the steering wheel all the way down, and now what you have to do is basically turn this until you can ply it back up behind here by moving the steering wheel and pulling back on this as best you can. It's a very tight fit, and I'm going to try to avoid having to take the speedometer off or loosening it to try to get it off so I can get access to the screws behind it. Okay, so I was able to fish that out. You can see the screws that are actually holding the pieces on right here. There's one back behind there. There's one right here. There's another one behind the air conditioning duct, and what you have to do is loosen this up to be able to get to it. To loosen it up, undo this screw. Then there's a side panel over here that if you pop out a small piece and then you just pull on this, it will release itself. And then there's 2 screws right here and here, which I've already taken out, which will allow you to move this over to get to that piece. Okay, so I've removed all the screws up here, moved this over to be able to get access to the screw that was over here. The last thing to do to get access to the bottom screws is to come down here, and there's 3 screws along the bottom here that if I take those out, that allow this panel to come off, and I can remove the panels then, the front dash panels. To get this panel after you remove the screws, you probably have to like pry it off the top part a little bit, but once you do that, it pops right off. Okay, so now that that panel's off, I can get to the screws that are actually holding the this piece on and this piece on. They're underneath here, so I'm just going to take those off and pull the pieces off. Okay, so I've taken the 4 screws off. This panel came off no problem. This one's a little more challenging. I got all 4 of them off, but it's clear that I'm going to have to pull the speedometer out a little bit frame just to be able to get access to it and pull it out. So what I'm going to do again is use my my screwdriver and sort of pry itself under there a little bit, loosen this up as best as I can to get some access to it, and just work on working it out of there. Hopefully that'll work. Okay, I'm working on this piece, and I realized that there's another screw in here that's actually hidden. You can't see. Actually, have to go through in here to be able to access it. The only way I could see it is when I threw my trouble light on it. I'll see if I can show it to you. But it's back in there, and then once you loosen that off, that should come off. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So make sure you look for that hidden screw and take it out. Okay, so I was able to pull the old piece out. I've put the new one in, And basically what you have on the back here is a module that this cable has to plug into. You take this black piece of tape here, I ripped that off, pulled the other one out, plugged that one back in, and had no problem. What I'm going to do is, before I assemble it, I'm actually going to make sure that there's no problems with this unit, put the key in, make sure all the electrical starts and the car starts before I put it back together again, just to make sure there's no problems that I don't know about with this unit. Alright, so I put the key in, I tested it, I started it, it worked fine. So now what I've done is taken the two pieces over here, put them back where they belong, and I'm just going to reinstall the screws in reverse order that I did before and put everything back. First step is to take this off, and the way I'm going to do that is take this off. That allows you to get access to some screws that I'll show you right up here, and then underneath here you can get access to the screws right here, and then the other ones underneath here. What you have to do is, there's this panel that you see right here that you'll have to pop off with a screwdriver. I just popped it off, came right off, put it right here. So I'll go ahead and start to install those and walk us through the process. Okay, so I got the screws that are visible. There's another screw that's behind here that actually requires you to take this off. I was trying to figure out how to loosen it up after I got this screw off and realized that there's a side plate here, and what you have to do is actually prop this off. Once you prop that off, it gives you access to the two screws here that actually hold this on, which will then allow you to get back to the screw that holds that on. Okay, so I've taken all the screws off, loosened it up, and I've pulled out the dash panel piece. It was stuck in there. Looked like there was a spot for a screw, but there was no screw in there, so I had to sort of twist it and turn it and was able to get it out. I notice on the new piece I'm putting in, it does not have a screw piece on the end there, so I'm not quite sure why there was a difference between the two. Now at this point, what I'm going to do is I removed the prior lock mechanism so that I could use it with my current lock. Basically, that's a fairly easy process to remove. Just come back here, and there's like two little pins that you push on, and it just allows that to come out, and then you can release it and put the new one in. Okay, I've installed the lock mechanism, and now I'm just going to try to fit the piece back up in there and match up the holes with where they were before, and install it. Okay, so I've now installed the 5 screws that were here. There was one behind there, there's one behind this plate, and then there was 3 underneath here. The only thing left to do is to snap on the decorative plates that go here and here. Okay, so I've installed this side, the driver's side dash panel. What I'm going to do is come over here to the glove compartment. Basically, you know, you lift it up like you would anywhere. Right underneath here are 2 screws which I've already removed, and if you just remove those, and then the panel itself is held in also with some like plastic pressure retainers here, and what you'll have to do is get underneath there with a screwdriver and pry it loose, which will then loosen this up and allow you to take it off and put on the replacement when you're going to use. You can actually get an idea where these pressure spots are from this piece that I have right here. There's basically one at the end, one in the middle, and then one over here, and you'll have to get a screwdriver underneath there to loosen them up. There aren't any on the other side, so basically once you get those off, this thing will pop right off. So I've loosened the 3 retaining things that I talked to you about. I'm pushing this down here, and now I was able to take this one off. Then it's basically the same process in reverse. Put it on, snap those in place, put the screws back on, and you're ready to go. Okay, so I put the 4 screws in, I snapped it back in place, got it there, and now basically you can see that we finished the dash install on both sides. Wasn't that laborious a process. The hardest part was actually just prying out this piece. Not an easy process, but once you do it, it looks pretty sharp. Definitely like my new dash panel.